Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's our Candy, and in today's video I am going to be discussing about all the controversy and all of the hate towards ROYALWEEN, really. Everything in Royal High that's been going on right now, and if you guys didn't know, well, that's what this video is for. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and well, let's get into it. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, obviously WICKERY CLIFFS is out. So in Royal High, this game that everyone absolutely loves, WICKERY CLIFFS had a huge delay, and obviously it came out like a few days ago, but apparently I think it was like the 16th or something it came out, and so everyone was like, it was over 2 weeks of a delay, and many people were really annoyed about that, which actually kind of brought on a lot of the hate about this update, because many people are really upset that with this huge delay there was going to be so much more in the update, and many are disappointed that that really isn't. Everything is the same, and many people have said it's just a recycled update, so they don't understand why they didn't just release it on the first day, as there wasn't really anything new added, and there wasn't really anything that was worthwhile to keep such a long wait for. Now, to be honest, if you guys go on Twitter right now and you literally only search ROYALWEEN, the first things that you kind of get is about oh wow, it's finally out, and many people give a little bit of advice about stuff, but most of it is just pure hate about the new update. And some of the few things that you can see is people are really annoyed about the apple bobbing, and something I can try and read from a tweet with trying to make it a little bit more friendly. Basically, they don't understand the reasoning behind limiting apple bobbing due to players auto clicking. And I know that was a big issue everyone had last year, where basically when people were doing apple bobbing, people were buying or just getting a hold of auto clickers so that they didn't have to just, stand there and actually click to do apple bobbing every single time, which many people were like, okay, this is not good, because obviously there were people cheating the system and they were annoyed about it, and it doesn't necessarily make the game unfair, but because everyone can use it, but they were just annoyed about the fact that there's some people who just won and they were trying to play the game properly, and then there's those people using auto clickers. So that was a huge thing at the time, so many people think it's due to that, but they find it really annoying about the fact that not everyone has the whole day or all the time in the world to really just be trying to grind for candy all the time. And so apple bobbing, you just had to stand still and just click, so you could try and every now and again just spend a little time on it, and you just didn't have to put in as much work. And I understand that seems lazy, but considering this update you can't buy candies, yeah, I think we kind of get a decision and a chance to be lazy, really. I think it's kind of fair considering how pricey things have gotten. And definitely another thing is that people are really frustrated that there's not a new set involved. Everyone was thinking maybe the delay was because they had some problems with a new set, but there wasn't. As well as also the sleeves for the Whimsy Witch set, which I know many people are upset about, because they were really expecting at least some new release, something good to save for, rather than just the candies, because they're a lot more difficult. But everything in WICKERY CLIFFS, honestly, people are just really, they weren't happy about it. Another thing that everyone is obviously just annoyed about, obviously we did get new items in terms of the dorms, which obviously before we didn't even have dorms, so it was really nice to get some of those, and they look amazing. As well as obviously we did get at least one new candy farming technique or routine, and it was the candy bowls, but many people are really annoyed about the fact that that is all we got, really. They're really disappointed that you have to spend about 800 candy, I believe, to get the bowl, and you get about 50 for it, and many people are really they're really annoyed, and some people are definitely saying that they can't wait to see the downfall of the game if they're willing to do something like this. Now, also, I just thought I would mention this, as this is kind of my source for a lot of the hate, because of also the replies for it. But there is an account on Twitter that kind of mentions it, and they're saying they're not spreading hate, they just want to say the blatant facts. And they are on obviously on Twitter, but they are the ones who are giving me most of what I'm finding. But many people are finding it annoying that like the issues aren't being brought up enough, and saying that like they're annoyed about the males not getting enough recognition. I've seen that a lot because of the complaints about no new set. It kind of brought up the discussion about that there's no like male only sets. Like we have a few that have like the masculine like legs, I guess. I don't know, but most of them aren't really, just male only. And like a Prince guitar on the back doesn't really count, and a knight's sword, it's not a set. So people are really upset about that, as men really want some more sets just for them rather than toggles to change to women's ones. Now, I'm going to give the part that most people probably did not want to hear about being the defenders. Apparently, that's like a thing. People defending the game. It's like, because no one wants to be considered a hater of the game, but, you can hate some things. It's not necessarily hate. I think it's just disappointment overall. But for my defending part of this, to be honest, we all did hear about Barbie being sick, and I definitely think maybe she was sick for 2 weeks, because knowing how like it's getting closer to the end of the year, people get ill a lot easier now. Like I think that should have been a pretty much like that should have been brought up a little bit more, to be honest, because I think people needed to understand that if she is like, the overall decider of the game, and obviously she's the one who, keeps the updates going and she's in charge of it, I think that it's a lot on her shoulders, especially considering how active the Royal High community is. So her getting ill for 2 weeks, it shouldn't have been such a big deal. I definitely think people should have calmed down. I understand, like, they're like, well, she was so ill, like, she could have just clicked upload to the, like, for WICKERY CLIFFS, and I'm like, I get what you mean in a way, but I also do think that maybe you guys could, like, understand that it's probably not that simple, because there was still new releases, there still was the new maze, so she just wanted to make sure it was perfect, because there's already bugs with it now, and that was with a 2 week delay of her being ill as well. So, like, imagine it without the 2 week delay, and she just like loaded it and didn't think about, any of the bugs. Imagine how the community would have reacted to that. But overall, I would just like to say, like, I know it seems like it's a bad thing to be defending the game because everyone's like so upset about it, which is kind of sad that like it's a bad thing to defend them, but genuinely, I would just like to put my part of my opinion out there, is that apparently, obviously, Barbie was ill for like 2 weeks. And so, with her being ill for like 2 weeks, that kind of, well, it could have been 2 weeks that she was ill, but she could have just kind of wanted a break. And I get it. Yes, like people think she probably could have just went upload to the old update, and then just gave us the same one without anything and just released ROYALWEEN when it was expected. But we do have to know that there was like a new, items. Like we did get a new candy bag, new dorm items, and we saw how long like Beyonce was like trying to get that coffin right and everything. And also like all of the new campus had to be redone completely, and that had never been done before. As well as also, just like, yeah, there was the new candy method. The maze had to be redone because it is not the same as last year. So there's like tons of things that were like little details that I think people always forget about, and also none of us know the behind the scenes with everything. So I definitely think people needed to like calm down a little bit. Overall, though, I do get the anger, the frustration, the annoyance over the update, because I'm kind of there with you. I'm so annoyed about the candy thing, but I don't think this is necessarily to do with like, oh, the fact that there was like lack of stuff in the update. I just think people are annoyed that they can't get absolutely every item, because we can't spend like many hours a day farming for like candies because we've all got our own lives. I definitely think that's the most annoyance about it. People just really wanted more ways to farm for candy and that. So I think that's a big part of what everyone's annoyed about. But in general, I definitely think that the frustration should be calmed down just a little bit, and we can see about our like annoyance and our disappointment if Christmas is like, the exact same. If it's delayed, if nothing happens, then we can, get annoyed about it then. But I definitely do think that by Christmas, everyone will be a bit more upbeat and a bit more perkier, a bit more festive, and perhaps, it won't be such a disappointment to the community. But I definitely want people to just like, voice their opinions, because I think it's right that we do, because, of how communication is such a big thing for the community. And that's kind of why Royal High allow us to communicate about the game so much. overall, I would just like to, put it out there about all of the hate, really, and everything that we see on Twitter and on YouTube videos and on comments and everything. I do think that it needed to be a little bit more chilled about it. But again, voice your opinion. It's nothing wrong with it. Just like, don't go so overboard about it. Let me know what you guys all think about everything. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.